Right, it's a red building in the back.
Come on.
Go stand with them. Go stand with them. Keep them outside.
What's going on, man? Were you hurt?
No, I'm fine. I mean, emotionally, no.
All right.
Two influential families adopted babies from foreign countries. The Rasmussen family adopted a baby boy in Pakistan, and the Negroponte family adopted a baby girl from an orphanage in Honduras. These children would grow up in privileged homes and cross paths in school as teenagers. They would become best friends. Fast forward to the night before Valentines Day 2020, and one friend would lay bleeding to death on the floor after a vicious attack, and the attacker was none other than their best friend. Dr. Zeba Rasmussen and her husband Stephen were living in Pakistan in May 1995, when the couple's dreams of having a baby came true. They had tried to have a child of their own, but later resorted to adoption. So they were beyond thrilled when 2-day-old Yusuf came to them. Although he was sick and malnourished, he would go on to thrive in his new family. He stayed in Pakistan with his parents, where they helped to provide health care for poor villagers, before moving back to the United States when Yusuf was 13. They settled in Montgomery County, Maryland, a suburb of Washington, D.C., and it was there where he met Sophia Negroponte. She was a couple of years older than Yusuf, but they quickly bonded over their similar childhood, because like Yusuf, Sophia was also adopted. She was a malnourished baby in an orphanage in Honduras when the U.S. ambassador to Honduras, John Negroponte, and his wife Diane adopted her. But not only her, they adopted 5 daughters from Honduras and brought them back to the United States, where they lived a very privileged life. Sophia's father would go on to be named the country's first director of national intelligence in 2005 by the then President George W. Bush. Although they were a high-profile, influential family, John and Diane raised their 5 daughters in a loving, grounded home. Yusuf and Sophia had lively friend groups and were uplifting to those around them. Sophia was known for making people laugh and her infectious energy, while Yusuf was known as the friend you could always talk to and count on to make you feel better. As they got older, life changed a bit for them. Coming from highly achieving families, they were expected to go to college, which they both did. Sophia opted for a school close to home, and Yusuf went a few hours away to school in West Virginia, where he was on the soccer team. He then went on to finish his degree in Ohio before returning to Maryland. In February of 2020, Yusuf was back in town with the fresh status of college graduate. Sophia was still in the area, and they had kept in contact and were eager to meet up with each other. They agreed to hang out at Sophia's place. She had moved out of her parents' house and at the time was renting an Airbnb in Rockville. It was the eve of Valentine's Day, and they decided to stay in and have some drinks and catch up. Sophia, being the social person that she was, invited another friend over to hang out, and initially it was a good time. But shortly after 11 o'clock, one person would lie dead on the floor with their killer on top of them.
Tell me exactly what happened.
So there's some sort of altercation here, and someone's cut, and we're having some issues here.
And someone did what?
There's an altercation, someone was cut, and they're having
Someone
an
was
issue
cut?
here. Yes, please.
What
Please
do you
send
mean was
right away.
cut? Okay, listen, what do you mean someone was cut?
Someone was cut in like the throat. There's altercation with a knife, and we're having issues.
So who are the people that had an altercation? I need you to tell me exactly what happened.
So it's 2 people that I just kind of know.
Do they live there? Are they neighbors? Who are these
They're
people?
their friends. I just
So
met
they
them
got
little
into a
bit
fight.
Yeah. So the patient's male. He's awake.
He's awake?
He's it's not
Is
great.
he breathing?
He's aspirating a little bit.
The third friend who was there would testify that they were laughing and play fighting, but at some point in the night, Yusuf and Sophia had argued twice. He said the first time they quickly resolved it and went back to laughter. However, after the second argument, Yusuf decided he was leaving, and he walked out of the residence, which was a small carriage house behind a main house, and he made his way to his car before realizing he left his phone back inside. This moment of realization outside in the crispy cold February air would be one of his last, because when he went inside to retrieve his phone, he and Sophia would argue briefly, and she would grab a knife from the kitchen drawer, pull it back behind her head, and then forcefully plunge it into Yusuf's neck multiple times. The third friend at the residence called 911 immediately. Police would enter the home and find Yusuf on the floor covered in blood, with Sophia on top of him, screaming and crying, "I'm sorry."
What's going on, man? Did you get, are you hurt?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I mean, emotionally, no.
All right.
Physically, I'm fine.
All right, what happened?
So,
Who are you? Who lives
so
here?
I know this girl. I've met her like a couple times. Come and hang out with them today.
Okay.
Have a drink or two.
Uh-huh.
They have some sort of altercation. They're friends
Who's
for a
it?
while.
A girl and a guy?
Sophia and Yusuf.
Okay. Are they boyfriend, girlfriend?
No, as far as I know, no. They're just friends. Jim, what do you think? Again, I know her, but I don't really know her.
Mm-hmm.
They had some sort of altercation, anger, fight.
Like start out verbal or what?
Verbal.
What was it over?
I truly don't even know.
Okay.
Something that clearly happened.
Okay.
Anger, a little bit of punches. I'm like trying to calm it down, and then all of a sudden, she grabs a knife from the drawer.
Okay.
And like just like that, they're
Like from
arguing.
the kitchen drawer?
From the kitchen drawer.
It's like just like a steak knife or something?
Yeah, it was just like a chef's knife.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, she pulls it and is like threatening with it, and I'm like, holy fuck. Stop.
Right.
And then I don't know how serious she is about attacking him, but like there's contact made, blood flowing everywhere, and that's when I immediately.
So what do you mean when there's contact? I mean, what does she do?
She makes some sort of like motion towards her. Towards him. Sorry, no, not towards me. Towards the victim.
Okay.
They're
I mean,
fighting,
did you see her,
kind of threatening.
where did she hit him with the knife?
Like in the neck.
In the neck.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I didn't think there was like they're kind of scuffling, knives there,
Right.
and like I don't feel like I see that she made a like a real stabbing motion, but like it's up there threatening and scuffling, and then I see blood spraying
Going
everywhere.
Okay.
And there's clearly some sort of contact. And
were people drinking? You said
yeah, we had some
like a
drinks.
lot or?
I only had like one or two drinks.
Okay.
I got there after they'd already started.
This is their house?
I have no idea.
How long have you known both of them?
So I've known her for a couple of months.
Okay.
She's a customer. I'm at the store. I manage a Starbucks. She's a customer there.
Okay.
And got to flirting and figuring out, like, just to talking and texting. And so this is like the second time hanging out with her.
All right. Second time you've and who's the guy to her?
It's her best friend.
Just a best friend. Okay.
That's what she said, yeah.
All right. So, what time did you get here tonight?
About 9:45.
Did you get here by yourself, or were they here?
They're already here.
They were already here. You got here
she's staying here. I don't know if it's her apartment or if she's like in transit or like what's
so at
going on.
9:45 tonight, you got here, and those two are already here. Had they already been drinking?
Yeah, they'd already been drinking. Okay. So, how many drinks they had before that? I don't know.
Okay, that's okay. When you got here, what was the general feeling between those two? Like, it was just
It was just kind of fun, hanging out, having fun.
Was there like a specific topic that kicked off this
It seemed to be
argument?
in relation to like some sort of woman that the victim was
seeing or something?
Seeing, yeah.
Sadly, during the attack, one of her vicious blows severed his jugular, and Yusuf died. He was days away from job interviews he was excited for, and had a newly adopted puppy at home that he would never make it to. While Sophia clearly showed remorse, it doesn't take away that she savagely took Yusuf's life. Furthermore, during her statement to police right after it happened, she initially claimed it was an accident. Now the two were very playful and often wrestled like young friends might do. She claimed they were scuffling and she didn't remember stabbing him. She said she only remembered pulling the knife from his neck and crying for him to breathe. However, the other friend that was there clearly recalled her retrieving the knife from the drawer and threatening him before plunging it into his neck. Her defense would also try to argue that due to the alcohol she consumed, she was unable to form intent. However, police had video footage of Sophia for 6 hours in the police station following the attack, showing her acting and speaking relatively normal, not like that of an overly intoxicated person. During her trial, it would come out that Sophia had a secret. She had a drinking problem, and according to the prosecution, she had deep-rooted anger problem as well. And when she drank, she would get consumed with rage. During the trial, the impact Yusuf had on the world could be felt by everyone. There were so many impact statements from friends and family describing what an incredible young man he was. Even Sophia would say on the stand, "Everything everyone is saying is true. He was a very beautiful and loving and caring person. I am truly sorry." Now, during the trial, Sophia kept the support of her family. Her father, John, who was now in his 80s, was at the trial every single day. As a wealthy, influential man, he tried his best with a top defensive team to lessen her punishment. He claimed her alcohol abuse stems from traumas when she was younger, and that she had been in various programs for her severe alcohol use disorder. However, it didn't mean much to the judge. She was found not guilty of the most serious charge of first-degree premeditated murder, but jurors did find her guilty of second degree, stating she intended to inflict such serious bodily harm to Yusuf that death would be the likely result. And in March of 2023, the judge sentenced her to 35 years, well above the sentencing guidelines and 5 years short of the maximum. The judge said that she was dishonest and not forthcoming, and she tried to say it was an accident and that she didn't remember. And even during her line of questioning from the prosecution, when they asked her if she acknowledged that she stabbed Yusuf, she said, quote, "No, I didn't." Her father has hopes to appeal and get what he calls a more just sentence handed down. But for Yusuf's family and friends, they're left with only memories of what of a wonderful guy he was. And his parents are left with a home with Yusuf's bedroom, where all they can do is break down and cry when they see it. This case was so senseless and tragic. Yusuf was an innocent, loving guy killed for no reason. And Sophia had a loving family with nothing but opportunities, and she does this. It's just so sad. I think she definitely deserves to be behind bars because actions do have consequences. But let me know what you guys think, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.